Had a winter storm on Wednesday. Dropped close to a foot of snow on us. It was a nice powdery snow, nice and light to shovel. Here we are on the original homestead where we have our greenhouses, and there's still snow on the roof. That beautiful powdery snow, nice and light, is no longer there. What we have instead is a temperature swing and some rain. So the snow is absorbing moisture, getting nice and heavy, which makes it tough to shovel, and a lot of weight on the greenhouse roof. So what we're going to do is we're going to shovel the snow away from the side of the greenhouse, and then we'll pull it off the top. A lot of people like to use a broom on the inside of the greenhouse and push the snow off. It is a very good way to do it. I found actually an easier way is a snow rake, just like you'd use on your house. So that's what we're going to do today. Here we are on the western side of our germination greenhouse. It's a wooden greenhouse. There's quite a bit of snow on the roof and along the sides. Any type of greenhouse, it's a good idea to remove the snow from the sides if it has plastic on it. I have a metal hoop house right behind the germination greenhouse. There's no sheathing on it, so I'm not worried about the snow. It just piles up. But if there's sheathing on it, this one down here with the tarp, the snow is held up along the sides, and the weight from the snow can bend the hoops even from the sides. So you want to take it off the top so the tops don't get bent. You also want to take it off the sides so that your steel bows don't get bent from the sides. Here we are at our big greenhouse. You see what snow slid off naturally. There's still some up along the top we're going to remove. And as it slides off, or whether you pull it off, it falls along the side. It's putting quite a bit of weight on the sides of the greenhouse, so we're going to remove it. Ideally, we'd like to get the tractor down here, or a snowblower at the least, and do it mechanically. It's not an option today, so we're going to do it with a shovel. We'll use the snow rake on top to pull it off the top of the greenhouse, and we'll shovel the remainder. When you build your greenhouses, when you place your greenhouses, keep in mind that you want to remove that snow, and that you want to remove the snow from the side. So put it in a location where it's easy to get to with machinery. This is not the easiest location to get to, which is why we're doing it by hand today. And you want to make sure that you leave enough distance between objects so that you can get your machinery through. You don't want to park a trailer there and leave it piled with tomato stakes, because then you have to move it to remove some of the snow. So a little bit of do what we say, don't exactly do what we always do, as we've left the trailer there all summer, and then now it's conveniently, or not so conveniently, in our way. This part of the greenhouse we're able to easily get the tractor down to. That trailer there is really what prevented us from getting down this side of it. The west side of the greenhouse, it's always got to be done by hand because of the stone wall that's here and the old fence and just the slope of the land. We just can't get a tractor in there. Not the best planning. Not a problem if we don't have the sheeting on. The snow can just fall and we won't even worry about it. But with tarp, with the sheeting, you want to make sure that you take care of the snow. It's shovelable today, but as the air freezes, that snow gets hard. It becomes like ice, and then it's a lot of work removing it. Just one thing to keep in mind when you place your greenhouses, depending on your climate. We got most of the snow shoveled away. Just a little bit left on this side, the eastern side. Then we'll go over to the west, shovel that. Then we'll pull that snow off the top of it. So we're getting there. Once again, if you can place your greenhouses so there's no objects between them or on the sides, and they're in such a location that you can get machinery down both sides and front and back preferably, really make your life a lot easier. Your back will appreciate it. Now we've finally broken a path along the eastern end of the greenhouse. We'll get the west side real quick. Not real quick, but we'll get the west side, and then we'll pull the snow off, and the job will be done for the day. It's one of those things on the homestead. It's something you have to do. It doesn't bring any income in. It helps preserve some of the infrastructure you've put into place. You don't want to take the time to build a greenhouse, the expense of building and buying a greenhouse and putting it up, and then let it just be destroyed by the weather. It happens. It happens a lot. But it's one of those things you have to do, even though it doesn't bring money in, and it takes your time, and it's not always the nicest weather to be doing it in. Although today's pretty darn nice. You can see the fogs come from the snow melt. Pretty nice day. It's got to be well in the 30s, which for where we're located is pretty nice this time of year in February. So we'll get started on that other side, get the snow off, and then call it a day. Quite a bit of snow was moved. You can see this so warm that there's quite a bit of melt on the ground underneath. Short couple months where the snow is piled. It's hard to believe, but there'll be rhubarb, and that'll be nice then. First we got to get there. West side is all dug out. We'll grab the snow rake and get the snow off the top of the greenhouse, and we'll call it a day. Sorry about the bumpy footage. Snow rake cam. If you got any slope at all in your greenhouse, snow does slide down the plastic fairly nice. This is a plastic snow rake, which is nice. Not worried about damaging the plastic. That was close. Plastic has been on the greenhouse quite a while. See where we had to tarp it this year. Even greenhouse plastic, as it goes on, does deteriorate from the UV rays of the sun. So greenhouse plastics typically can get you 2 years very well, some more. Construction plastic, if you put that on a greenhouse, you would be lucky if you made it a full season. You'd find in this area anyways, if you put it on in late March, early April, that by August it would be deteriorated and it would be flaking apart. That's why we always go with a greenhouse plastic. It is more expensive, but it's worth it in the long run. This greenhouse plastic has been on here, I want to say, boy, maybe 4 to 5 years. So it's really at the end of its lifespan. We do plan on tearing this greenhouse down, even though it's our germination greenhouse. Slushy snow is starting to get slippery. Sorry about that. Try not to fall on you. You can see a big section actually came off on its own and fell right there. We will want to take that out just so it doesn't freeze there, so we always have a path to it. You can see we had to tarp quite a section of the greenhouse. And like I said, that plastic is pretty old, so we'll have to patch it this year. Even though this is going to be the last year for this greenhouse. At a homestead, we often say that's the plan. The plan doesn't always happen. Not the A-team plan doesn't always come together. So we plan on this being the last year, but we've said that before too. So this might be the 4th or 5th last year, if you follow what we're saying. So snow rake does a nice job of taking it off the top. I sometimes find with the broom on the inside that I worry about actually putting a hole in the plastic. It doesn't have to be bare. You get the bulk of the snow, and if we ever get some sun up here, that will do the rest. Or when we start up the wood stove, that will help take care of that as well. Speaking of wood stoves, we quite often have to replace the stovepipe. It seems to be an every couple year job. Usually it's the elbow, and if you look at this one, the elbow is where it tends to always fall apart. Always seems to rust out there. And of course, once it rusts away, it impacts the draft of your wood stove, and it won't quite burn right. So lots of jobs to take care of before spring. Shot of the big greenhouse. Gotta get the snow off the top of that, but we've got it all dug out along the side, so it should go fairly quick. Won't get any footage of that just because I don't have a fancy holder for my camera yet, and I want to put some gloves on and put this phone away. Here we go. We have a snow-free roof, and the structure is saved. A little bit of snow to clean up along the edge, but for the most part, we're done for the day. This has been Mark at Homesteading. Thanks for watching.